thought big muscles would get you girls? But now the girls just walk away? Wait, that guy doesn't have muscles. Don't worry, there's an answer. The Slob 90X program. Just look at these results. In just 90 days, these 12 Slob 90X DVDs will put you on a program to weaken those bulbous shoulders and build a thick wall of fat around your midsection. And now, a word from Ronnie McDonough, the creator of Slob 90X.
SLOB stands for Slow, Lazy, Ordinary Body. In just 90 days, I can help you become a computer nerd, a party animal, or just a plain old lovable slob. We don't need to pick up a sword and fight the mongrels anymore. You know, a pterodactyl's not gonna come down and peck my face off. And we need a modern day workout for the average Joe, and that's when I came up with Slob 90X.
My girlfriend said she wasn't turned on to me anymore. She said I wasn't warm and cuddly enough. And then she left me for a comic book writer.
You know, at first, what the hell's this jackass doing?
Did you get your ticket?
Is he crazy?
What? To the
People
gut
can't
show.
live like that. 30 minutes later, I'm on the
ripped my
phone
pants.
buying his products. I gotta tell you,
I hate it, but I taste it.
changed my life.
But there's too much crap to explain here now, and I gotta take a nap. So get yours today, and we'll send you the entire Slob 90X 12 DVD set, plus 4 bonus DVDs. Don't be miserable and muscle-bound. Be a slob now. I did it, and so can you. Slob!
I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 I'm gonna get myself a modem.
All right, everybody, welcome to Interview Friday Lunch Therapy. For those of you who have never been here before, Lunch Therapy is a place for you to chill, a place for you to relax a little bit, maybe have a laugh. On Fridays, we do Interview Fridays, and we interview an interesting person and somebody that can maybe teach us something. Today is no exception. We have Denis Faye here, the self-proclaimed nutrition nerd. So I'm really glad to have him here. He's also somebody that I went to high school with as well. So that's going to be fun. Woodway High School in the house. So to begin the show, we always breathe. Right now, I've got Denis in the green room waiting to come on. He's doing some squats with Boney. So he should be ready to go when he comes on. So first breath. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. One of the things I'm working on here is slowing down a little bit. I got the Slob 90X program, so that helps you slow down. You eat those donuts, and that'll put you right to sleep. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Behind me, let it go, is snow. Yes, this is almost real-time snow sent to me from the Moose Lodge in Washington State. They have snow, so it's hard for me to believe here in Southern California, but it's happening. It's happening. It's happening now. So who is Denis Faye? Denis Faye is the nutrition nerd, like I said. He's Beachbody's vice president of nutrition. So we're going to learn something here. He also went to Woodway High School, like I said. He's the co-writer with Tony Horton of Tony Horton's books. Tony was on the show a while back. If you haven't seen that episode, please check it out. But also, he's a really good writer, Denis Faye. He wrote for Wired and Outside and Men's Journal and Men's Health and the New York Times even. Hilarious guy. Also a screenwriter, and I happen to know him. So he's here, And he's going to be coming on. Let's just do one more breath in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let's see who's here before I jump in. We got Guiniel is here. Hopefully Mulva is here. Oh, Mulva is in Slob 90X. She's in the commercial, of course. Howard Aronin, slobbing is sexy. Heard Boney had some special mushrooms for the nutritionist. Yeah, hopefully he's not tripping, because that would be weird. It's kind of like he's tripping all the time. But here we go. Interview Friday, Denis Faye. Welcome to the show.
Hey man, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. That was super embarrassing. Listening to all that stuff. It's not. Don't.
It's totally true, though, right?
No, it will kind of. It was a bit grandiose. I mean, I wrote little articles. They weren't that.
I like it.
Big of a deal. And the nutrition nerd thing, like a few years back, before I started working full time at Beachbody, I hired someone to help me because I wanted to, launch things. And she was great. Her name was Jennifer Gunkel. She was awesome. But she picked that name and then she branded all my social media with that name. And now I don't understand computers enough to get rid of the name. So now it's everywhere. And it's just
I love it. I love it. And it's so Seattle of you to be self-deprecating like that. And you're supposed to like pump yourself up and say things that are just like outrageously not true, but instead you're going the other way. And I appreciate that. Sven de Kock is here. Do you remember Sven from high school?
I totally remember Sven. Does he speak English now? He didn't speak it very well in high school.
He speaks it great. Look at that. You just typed that. Woodway was a good school, beautifully surrounded. You see?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's cool, right? He was great.
Yeah, he was It's awesome.
Great entertainer too. Totally inspirational. Also,
what's he doing now? What's Sven doing now?
Sven, well, I don't know. Ask him. We'll see if he comes back on here. But he pops in the show a lot, which is great to have the international flair. He's in Belgium, being Belgian, eating Belgian waffles and playing the lute. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing there. But I actually went to visit him years ago. After college, and we just had a great time all over Europe. You traveled after school, right? I mean, you went to like Australia or something like that. Can you, first of all, I want to find out first of all, what the deal is. We were on swim team together. You were a freshman at Woodway, right?
Yes.
Did you grow up in Edmonds, or how did you, where were you born and
my
stuff?
family kind of drifted around a lot. So
Sven says, Denis, my English wasn't bad. I made the haiku team.
Yeah. Okay. You know what, Sven? My bad. Actually, my English was bad. So you were speaking very clearly. I just couldn't understand you at all. Oh, look, everyone's jumping to South Dakota, which explains the fact that I couldn't speak so good the English. And
maybe it was you.
Moved to Edmonds when I was 12 and was there, lived in Seattle area for 4 years and then moved to Laguna. Okay. So, before the show we were talking, like you had a huge impression on me. Like to this moment, we're a couple of grown ass men sitting here talking. That's us. But I still see you as like, I was a freshman and you were a senior. I mean, you were like big and you
bigger
were cool
than life.
And you were, and then like you would actually talk to me, and I was like,
That's great.
I was like, like Judd was on the show a little while back. I was totally the Anthony Michael Hall in that situation.
Were you? I was the Judd Nelson, I guess. I was the John Bender, Jack Bender.
No, Bender. You were the is it Emilio Estevez, right? You were the Jack guy.
I love that you saw me that way, because I totally did not see myself that way. I guess probably the swim team was a small enough little microcosm that I could rule that and be like the captain of the swim team, right? But
and you could have been a dick and you weren't. You were like just a really nice guy. I think you guys took pity on me because I was super nerdy and just I was kind of Slob 90X-ish, and you're like, oh, here's this little nerd kid.
It's great that you
cuddle
feel
him.
that way, because I felt like I was all Slob 90X as well. And we were wearing those Speedos, and whenever they take the picture of us, I'd always hide somewhere. Like I face dance on the bottom of the pool, or I'd hide behind somebody. Yeah. Luckily, nobody went to our meets.
That's pretty. People would in the yearbook, because I had a gut. People would. I have my yearbook, and people drew my gut out. They like detailed.
No way.
You were chubby in.
Oh yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with being chubby.
Not that there's anything wrong. It's a choice.
No.
You can either do whatever you want with your body. The thing is, it's really fun. Now I remember though. Did you wear like an ascot or a scarf, and then you had like a hat that was like sort of Indiana Jones-ish?
Oh yeah, okay. So I was a fashion explorer. You know what, dude? I was metrosexual way before that shit was around. I was a pioneer in that. So yes, I had the fedora. I wore ties. I had the tweed.
You're like, you were like, so I look at you as like a, what was that movie? Rushmore? Like more like that. Yes. Like Rushmore style, like kind of, hipster.
But he was like wasn't he kind of manipulating and kind of
maybe you're right.
And control? I can't even, I'm not even the boss of my own house. I got three teenagers and a wife, all who have way more control than I have here. So I don't really, I think I fit in quite like that. Somewhere
you evolved because we were kind of like chubby people or whatever, didn't quite know what to eat, didn't quite know how to. I mean, we were swimming a lot, like John Peckinsaw says, you guys still swim. I mean, we were swimming a lot, and I still had the weight, still could not really get rid of the fat or anything like that. Afterwards, you took off where? To Australia? Is that where you went?
Australia, yes. Yeah, that was a big transformation there because I don't know about now, but definitely when I was there in the 1990s, I mean, everyone still partied and stuff, but first of all, like a portion was a portion. Like, it didn't, you went to a restaurant with 3 or 4 people and you wouldn't get 3 or 4 pizzas. You'd get a pizza and people would share and maybe have some salad. And there's a lot of fresh food around. And I kind of discovered all this, and I adopted the lifestyle and started surfing and rock climbing and all that. And it was a real game changer for me to see that you can just, I think you can still eat junk, just eat a lot less of it and then balance it out with some good stuff and you're golden,
I think my problem is that I eat low calorie foods, but I eat a lot of it. And I just,
that's not a problem.
For some reason I want to eat all day. What do you think about that? Like, do you think, how the intermittent fasting is like the huge thing, or it was, or it is. What do you think about that kind of lifestyle, intermittent fasting versus eating all day?
Well, I mean, you touched on a couple things there. Eating like a lower calorie food, like a lot of vegetables and stuff in high volumes. It's called volumetrics. And I mean, I guess because I think probably some Beachbody people are watching right now. And if I don't say this out loud, I'll get a bunch of crap. We have a program called To Be Mindset that actually shows you how to eat like that. And
I was looking at that, and I was looking at the trailer for that.
Yeah, did that? You set me up for that? Did you know I was going to say that?
No, but I actually, okay, so I've been doing the Beachbody workouts since, this is the other thing about us, is that we keep crossing paths. You contacted me years ago and said, hey, we went to high school together. We're two Seattle or Edmonds people here in Los Angeles trying to make it in the entertainment world. Maybe we should have lunch. And so I told that story last Tuesday. Do lunch. We should do lunch. Yeah. And so we did lunch and we reconnected. And then for a while there, we went and saw the sit and spin. Do you remember that? Sit and spin?
Yeah.
Sounds like a weird thing, but it was basically it was like the Moth. I think it was maybe a precursor to the Moth or something like that, where people would tell stories, which was super fun. And then later on, I'm working for Beachbody because I was doing their computers and helping out their trainers with their computers. And I was over at Tony Horton's, and all of a sudden I saw your name, Denis Faye. I'm like, wait a minute, is this possibly the same guy? And it turns out you were writing for Beachbody and you were working with Tony on a book at the time.
Yep.
So yeah, so I feel like we keep crossing paths in that way. So, and here we are again, which is great.
Cosmic, man.
It's cosmic.
Well, I really like the show. I have to say, I'm a new. You've been doing it for a while, 300X.
Yeah.
But I just started watching, and I think like everyone who Beachbody's a work from home company now, and I get here in my little work area / bike shop, and I just get in a rut where I'm working, run in the kitchen, get some more work. And just on a fluke, once I'm like, Joel's doing his thing, and I watched it, and I was laughing and having fun, and it was really like a siesta from work, and so I really appreciate that you're doing this here. It's a public service, man.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I have fun doing it, but I hope that it's other people are enjoying it, which it seems like people are. So I wanted to ask you this. I do the P90X workout. I did that. I've done the Chalene. I'm doing the work now with Emilio Caesar, and I really love this, and it makes my life so much happier, and it's super fun. And I subscribe. I've been doing it since Tony Horton gave me the P90X back in 2009 or something like that, and I love it. And I get to this place where I'm in the shape that I want to be, and then it happens for like 5 minutes. And then then for some reason, something happens in my life and I get off track. Not that I stop working out, but I get off the nutrition track. And I've never quite done the nutrition part of it,
Yeah. It's
so
hard.
What do you think with the 2B? What is that program called? It's about
2B Mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple programs. There's 2B Mindset, which is the volume-based thing. And then we have one called Portion Fix, which is little containers. Oh, yeah. So I would say that if you really like to eat a lot,
yeah,
and that's your jam, that's 2B. But if you just really want to learn amounts and
that's the Autumn Calabrese thing.
Yeah, that's Autumn's thing. So they both work, and they're I think they're both. We try to make them educational so that you can kind of learn and kind of bloom from there. The goal is you don't want to like, okay, I'm going to pull out my little containers every time I go to a restaurant. You want to be able to go to a restaurant, order a meal, and be like, okay, that's a reasonable amount of food, and as opposed to like, oh, I'm going to eat this because it was served to me. So I think a lot of it is just understanding the amounts of what.
Do you think we've been trained that a portion is like as big as your head?
Yes.
And I mean, that's, etc. Yeah.
Well, I hope I don't upset people, but it's the industry, man. I mean, we produce all this wheat and corn and soy, and the farmers do, and God bless the farmers, but we need to do something with it. So I think that the culture has tried to figure out how to get people to eat as much of this stuff as possible, so that to support that industry. And these companies have learned how to make food. There's a term, hyper palatable. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't. Tell me more.
Okay, so we are, like, as humans, we are evolved and created to exist in times of famine. Like think about human beings up until maybe like 100 years ago at most, and there wasn't a lot of food. There were no vending machines in Mesopotamia. There were? I mean, there was no McDonald's in the Old West. Like you could eat, but then you'd have to ration. In the winter you couldn't eat because there wasn't refrigerator. And then even so, you were always trying to get food. So your body is drawn. That's why we like sweet things, and that's why we like fatty things, because those are highly caloric, and we know that if we eat those, we can stock up, and we can use fat, which is what fat was meant for, is an emergency fuel source through leaner times. You follow me?
Yep.
So
totally.
What the industry has figured out is that we really like those tastes a lot. So they engineer foods to have this mouthfeel. So it's a little bit salty, it's a little bit sweet, or a lot sweet, and kind of fatty. Like in my opinion now, and I really like this particular candy bar. I have a weak spot for it, but it's a perfect example of perfect mouthfeel. Is a Snickers.
Yeah.
You have the savory, you have the sweet, you have the fat, you have that all in there, and you just want more, and you want more than you need. But all these different, the food industry has made us so that we eat those and not really explained that moderation is a good thing. And frankly, even if you tell people moderation is a good thing, our lizard brains are going, screw moderation, man. Our lizard brain still thinks that suddenly winter could come along and we won't be able to eat for a month. So it's going to want us to eat a lot. I'm totally ranting right now. I'm sorry.
No, I like it. I like it a lot because it's really important. The thing is too, I feel like that sometimes I feel like I'm out of control with my, like, I don't know if it's my lizard brain, or I don't know if it's because I've tied food to emotion. Like if I'm feeling down, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that feeds into it. That feeds into it too. I mean, like, yeah, we do that as a society. I mean, we're coming up on the holiday season here and Thanksgiving. I mean, it's weird. Like you're thought of as an oddball if you don't have to unbutton your pants after Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? And Thanksgiving is a time of family, and so all these seasons are happening where when you were a little kid they were a time of great joy, and then we get older and we all get depressed, and so you have the great joy of the food, but then you're eating because you're stressed out and get holiday slumps. I mean, it's both of those good, and we're a mess. That's why we need this. We need the therapy, and therapy. Yeah, the 3 minutes that you had before you started, everyone should do that. Like really, I can't tell you how important it is to just stop and breathe. Yeah. And I mean, even like if you think you're gonna overeat, I mean, this is weird, but go to Thanksgiving, fill your plate, have all your food, and then before you go, just stop for 10 minutes and reassess. And you probably will realize in that 10 minutes, a couple things will happen. One is physiologically, all that food is going to make its way where it needs to be and you'll be too full. But also you'll just realize that you're not eating to fill your stomach. You're eating to fill other voids, or you're just eating without thinking.
That's what I think I do. And I even see my cat do it. Like the cat will be bored or upset and it'll go like start eating. And I think that's like an emotional, like, I feel like, a lot of times I'm on an emotional roller coaster, as a lot of us are, especially at this time, because of all the uncertainty and confusion that's going on, that sometimes it's almost like a drug. Food is like a drug, where some people reach for alcohol and some people reach for, I don't know, heroin or whatever. I reach for food to try and make myself feel a little better.
It is a drug. I mean, it's not a drug, literally.
Yeah.
But I mean, some is. Caffeine's a drug. Alcohol's a drug. Yeah. But you do. I mean, a lot of the pleasure centers in your brain that get tickled. It's the, they're like really, really, really sweet, sugary foods will tickle the same things that other things that tickle. But it's easy to do. Kind of hard to go get the drugs that tickle your brain. For some of us, kind of hard to go get the sex that tickles your brain. But it's awfully easy to go get the candy that tickles your brain.
Yeah.
So,
now, do you think that feeds upon one another? Like if somebody, people are always like, you should eat more vegetables. And so you're like, I really don't want to eat vegetables. Can you train yourself to want to eat vegetables and want to eat fruits instead of the Snickers bar? Nothing bad about Snickers or anything.
No,
I'm so worried about them.
And I do. That's my like when I want a sweet treat, that's my go-to right there.
Yeah.
The Snickers industry is doing just fine, thanks.
Yeah, I think they're doing okay.
Yeah. But I would say, yeah. I mean, I think you can. I think you can just kind of make a point of adding it to the things you eat, like when you do go get pizza, I mean, order a salad too, and just kind of make a habit of it.
Does that help? Does that help?
I think so. Oh, yeah. I think okay, so you're well, you have to eat the salad too. You can't just buy it.
But also usually when you go to a pizza place and you order a salad, they give you like a bunch of lettuce that's like iceberg lettuce, and then they put like a whole bunch of salad dressing on it. And
Well,
so it like almost makes it worse.
Put it on the side. Get the salad dressing on the side and put a reasonable, like a little tiny bit of dressing. And I mean, if you can do that, honestly, and then eat your pizza, you've already filled up. You only got X amount of space in your stomach. So if you, okay, iceberg lettuce, not the most nutritious lettuce in the world, but there's some carrot shavings in there. And,
Right.
and you eat that, and then when you go to eat your pizza, maybe you're gonna eat only 1 or 2 slices as opposed to 8 because the volume of it. I mean, I would say that, and I would also, when people say they don't like vegetables, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of kinds of vegetables, and hundreds, if not thousands, of ways to prepare them. And you're telling me you can't find the gateway veggie? I mean, that's just all it is. You just got to find one and work from there. So that's what I would encourage people to do.
I like that. Find your gateway veggie. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or just, I mean, at least eat fruit, man. I'm sorry.
I got to address Sven de Kock because he's all the way in Belgium, and he's saying he remembers you and your fellow freshman, a few Tracy Cook. She shares my name, Matt Grodwell, of course, Lisa Laferno, Debbie Schindler, obviously. And then he says, I remember I made you a smoker back in Belgium. Oh, that's me. Italy and Greece. I'm sure you kicked the habit returning to the States. Yes, it was a hard habit to quit, but yes, for sure. That's too funny. Yeah, I love
That's
that.
awesome. You know, Matt Gradwell, I still talk to Matt sometimes.
Do you?
He's a big mucky muck at Microsoft.
He is, isn't he? You know, one time, this is a little side story. Jeff Lohman and I had the Commodore 64 computer, and Matt Gradwell said, I can put a button on that, a big red button on it that you can press and it will restart it. And we were like, okay. And so he did that. He like soldered this big red button for us to restart. And I have no idea why we wanted to restart it. But anyway, he was already a genius, a budding genius back then.
Yeah, I apparently went on to get genius. Oh no, this is awkward. My phone's going.
Your phone's ringing. How did you get so knowledgeable about nutrition? Like how did you become an expert on it?
You know, it's funny. So I was in Australia and just kind of became healthier, and then stopped eating meat for a few years, but was also exercising a lot. So I had to start learning about food because if you just stop eating meat and you exercise, you just get sick all the time and sore, and you need to learn.
I did that too back then.
Yeah, it doesn't work so well.
Yeah. I became a junk food vegetarian.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't work out very well.
No, it doesn't. No, it's not good.
It's really easy too. It's weird.
Yeah.
But and then I was also a journalist, so kind of fell into some food writing where you learn a thing or two doing that, and then moved back to the States and wanted to become a screenwriter. Tried that for quite some time, but needed a side gig. And my friend Steve Edwards.
Yeah.
I don't know if did you know?
Yeah,
Steve
yeah,
Edwards?
I did. That was a tragic thing.
Yeah, that sucked.
He passed away.
Yeah,
he
died a few
cancer.
years back.
Yeah,
Yep.
but a great guy,
That's
super great guy.
Oh, one of the best guys. And I because I knew him from UC Santa Barbara.
Mhm.
I used to work at his video shop, and I
You
called him up.
you worked at a video shop and he came in, or
No,
worked there
he
too?
owned the video shop.
Oh, he worked at his video shop.
Yeah, what he had, his parents owned a strip mall, and Steve was great. Steve just kind of drifted upward through life. I mean, he lived a fabled existence, and he's just a rock climber. And his parents owned owned a strip mall, and someone who owned a video store there skipped rent and then just left town and left the whole stock there. And he's like, "Well, can I have it?" And his parents like, "Sure." So he opened a video shop in Santa Barbara in Isla Vista. Yeah, it was pretty good. So I got a job there, and we were pals. And then I called him up, and I'm like, I was like asking for a recommendation because that was the last kind of retail job I'd worked. And he's like, "Well, I won't give you a recommendation, but you can come work for me at Beachbody." And I'm like, "Steve, I don't know anything about fitness and nutrition." And he's like, "Well, you're a vegetarian. You've written all these articles about this stuff. You surf, you ski, I don't ski. You surf, you rock climb, you mountain bike." And I'm like, "Oh, I guess and he's like, "And you understand how Google works." So I was like, "Yeah." So I mean, Beachbody is a very different company back then.
Yeah,
and,
it was when it was really small, right? I mean, there were like 3 trainers, and
we were tiny. So I started writing articles for him, and then it just kind of grew and grew. And then I went back to school and I got a master's in holistic nutrition. And I mean, I just kind of
you got a master's in holistic nutrition.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been neat to go back and become a registered dietitian, but because I had my kid and I had to work, I really couldn't do that. But it turned out to be really good because I'm a pretty cynical guy. If you're holistic nutrition's kind of, it's got pluses and minuses, but if you view it with a little bit of cynicism, you learn a lot because you kind of learn where science and like the ancient wisdom and all that kind of intersect and work. Anyway, it just became a passion. Do
you feel like holistic nutrition is like a slower way of handling medical issues and staying healthy? Is it slower, you think? Like Ayurveda and things like that?
I think it's a very valuable tool that everyone should have in their toolbox. But I don't think I personally, right? And I respect other people with different opinions. I personally don't think you should walk away from science and Western medicine just in favor of holistic nutrition. And okay. So holistic nutrition would be, to answer your lovely wife's question.
Yes.
It would be Ayurveda, which is Indian, kind of an Indian, not like Native American, but Indian way of eating and being, is an aspect of holistic nutrition. So what holistic nutrition does is it looks, it's really meant to be like, the thing of it is you're supposed to be like, okay, I have a stomach ache, and Western medicine goes like, well, what's wrong with your stomach? Whereas a holistic perspective would be like, well, what's going on in your whole body that we could use? And even in my lifetime, I watched Western medicine kind of get on board with that. And so it's useful, and they have a lot of notions that that used to be looked at as hogwash, and then science is like, oh, maybe they're right. Like, I mean, the big one are mushrooms. Mushrooms are crazy healthy. And
I hear that there's like a whole TED talk on mushrooms that people keep telling me to watch. Is that true? Mushrooms are like a big deal now. I mean, like people are really finding a lot.
All kinds of little nutrients in there. I mean, to be honest with you, I can't speak to them as an expert, the exact things, but I just see a lot of studies that find that this mushroom did that and that mushroom did this, and that was a holistic thing forever. Everyone loving on the mushrooms. So 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 you use it and you explore it, I think. And if you have a malady, listen to your doctor and trust your doctor, but also look at these other modalities and see if you can find something that works, because every now and then you do. I mean,
did you say modalities?
Ways of, did I just say 25-cent word?
Modalities?
Oopsie.
I don't know. Stop the show. I don't know if that's allowed.
Abort!
I'm afraid that you're gonna say like in the holistic space next.
No, I won't say that. No, but let me give you an example,
okay.
Right?
Yeah,
This isn't food, but this is very important to me. So I have a cracked vertebra, and it probably happened when I was in high school, and it's called a spondylolisthesis. And,
oh my God, was that my fault?
Was
that my fault?
No, I think it was after you. I think
Okay.
I remember when it happened. I was when I was in high school football, and I took a side hit, and something felt weird. And it's kind of common in high school kids. And what'll happen is that you'll crack this thing, but you'll have a strong core because you're young. So you'll just have a kind of a weird back your whole life, and you just everyone's like, you're fine, you're just complaining. And then when you get older and your core might start weakening a little bit, it really starts to hurt.
Yeah.
So it presented like about 10 years ago, and I didn't know what was going on. And I mean, I was really scared. And finally, an orthopedic surgeon found it, showed me the little cracked vertebra, and it had been trying to heal for 20 or 30 years. And what happens is it calcifies, so it won't heal ever. And so she's like, well, I want to fuse your spine. And I'm like, I don't want a fused spine.
Yeah, right.
So before I was like, okay, cool. Now I know what's wrong. I'm going to look around a little bit. And I found a yoga. It's got a weird name because you're going to make fun of it. It's called Vinny Yoga.
Oh,
And
like it.
so I started doing this.
My
Vinny
cousin
yoga,
Vinny
which is
yoga.
yoga. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I started doing this yoga, and it's totally taught me how to manage the back. Right.
Nice.
So that's an example of where I used Western medicine, and I talked to the Western medicine doctor and everything. But I personally chose to stop just short of the final Western solution and found a more holistic solution that worked for me. Is this getting too serious?
No, I
feel
love
like I'm ruining
I love
your
it.
show with
No,
serious
you're not. I was kidding you about the thing about the modalities.
modality.
I like it a lot.
Good word.
No, I like this. It's really interesting, actually. I'm going to show a little bumper to just lighten things up, and we'll get into another space here.
Yep.
This. Okay, this is like a new thing. I'm going to ask you to tell me something I don't know about, and it could be anything. Tell me something new.
Something that you don't know?
Yeah, I'm just putting you on the spot here. We can talk
You're
about
kinda
other things. What?
You're all knowing kind of little. Okay.
I know.
What is more important when you're riding your bike for measuring performance, heart rate or power?
Heart rate.
No. You're wrong. All right. Should we move on? Is that it?
That was good. Okay, I want to talk about this because a lot of times on the show we talk about keeping our mind right, keeping our head in the game, keeping ourselves happy, healthy in our mind. How do you do that? Do you meditate? I know that you just said you do yoga and you also bicycle a lot, but maybe you can expand on what you do.
Yeah. That's a great question. I wish I had more time to meditate. I think meditation is a massively awesome tool. Unfortunately, I just take all that extra time to ride my bike, which is a form of meditation. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when everything's falling apart, and I got a lot of little. I mean, I'm frenetic enough for you to probably figure it out that I got little demons running around in there. I just stop. I just stop and I get away from the desk, and I'm super. I said modality, and now I'm going to say blessed.
Okay.
But I'm super blessed. Yeah, no.
You can say that.
I live a mile from the beach, right? And I just get up and I just walk down to the beach and I take my shoes off and I just get in the water and just. And it just helps so much, you remember, Darren O'Lean and that show he did with Zac Efron on Netflix?
No, I don't know that one.
Oh, okay. I forget what it's called, but he gets off the plane and then he takes his shoes off. Bruce Willis also does this in Die Hard, but Darren doesn't have to fight a bunch of international terrorists. Instead, Darren just walked on some grass to recenter himself, and yeah, I believe in that. I mean, maybe not literally energy shooting through your feet, but just take off your shoes, be in as much nature as you can possibly be. If you're in Manhattan, go on your roof. If you can't go on your roof, just go stand next to a tree and just breathe for a moment,
I love that. I think that that's super important, actually. And also, you don't have to get all Wim Hof about it, but going in the water, I think is from what I understand, it actually helps your nervous system too, to go into the water.
Yeah.
And calm yourself down.
I will get Wim Hof. I mean, you think about, here's what amazes me back when I surfed a lot is a wave, right?
Yeah.
A wave isn't just a thing happening there. Like thousands of miles away, there were winds and there were storms, and all this energy was going into the ocean. And then as it moved across the ocean, all this energy gathered and collected and organized into these waves of energy. And so, and it's happening even though it looks flat. And then what happens is that it hits the hard surface of the earth and it doesn't have anywhere to go up. and that's what makes a wave. So energy from all over the world
It's coming
and you're
at you.
standing there, and you know, I mean, when you're surfing, it's mind blowing because you're actually channeling that energy, but that's a whole different story. But even just to stand in the water and feel that energy just kind of pouring over you, unless it's overhead and it dumps on you and then you eat crap in the sand, that's a different story. But it's so powerful, you know. I mean, how can you not feel a little bit like a hippie when you feel about that energy, you know? I did not expect this conversation to go this direction.
I love it. That's the whole thing about lunch therapy is we let the conversation go wherever it goes. And I think I look at surfers and think I'm missing out on something because they seem to have, it seems so ridiculous to me to go out in the waves with a board, and I've done it before and I get clobbered. But it seems so ridiculous just to go out a little ways and then just come back and then go out and come back and, you know, paddle out there. And it's very difficult to do. But you see surfers and they tend to have a sort of natural spirituality about them. They're usually in great shape because I think obviously it takes a lot to go out there, but also the whole balance thing, I think really affects your body. And I'm sort of, you know, I'm thinking like that is something that I'm missing out on. Because
it's pretty magical. I mean, I've chosen cycling in lieu of surfing now, which is I also could rhapsodize about. Is rhapsodize an okay word to use?
Rhapsodize is great. I can't believe I banned a word on the show. Only the word that you use. Only modality can't be used. Any other word is fine.
Exactly. So, but Joel, if you want the thing you were talking about surfing and the energy and all that, and why do they go back and forth? There's a really great book. Can't remember the author, but the name of the book is West of Jesus.
Okay.
And it talks about the intersection of science and spirituality and surfing, and it's fascinating.
Wow.
So well worth a read.
I'm feeling like that's one of the things that I want to get back into when I finally get myself out of quarantine. And that's happening. But is to get myself back in the water. What's going on with the water and the oil spill? Are you seeing any of that?
No. You mean the sand? Not yeah.
There was just an oil spill?
Or no, Huntington. It was Huntington Beach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it here. I'm in Redondo.
Yeah.
So I like how I look. I look as if your audience can look with me.
See?
Ocean ho! Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you ever want to get back into the performing at all? Like doing stand-up or telling stories or doing anything like that?
Takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I wasn't all that great at it. I mean, it's fun, but
yeah. Well, you're obviously a great writer. You're a very good writer. If anybody reads, I invite people to read. Well, you have it's called the Nutrition Nerd blog, isn't it? Do you still have it?
Yeah,
right. I mean, I was reading that recently. Are you still active on that? Right?
Kind of talking about life and during the pandemic, really took to hiking.
Yeah.
That's all we could do, and hiking with friends and the kids, and started running and writing about that. And I'd love for people to read it. I mean, at this point, what's the URL of that one? Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's my name.
It's your name.
DenisFaye.com. Didn't like that decision either, but Jennifer said that that's what I should do.
Yeah.
So,
Jennifer knows what she's talking about. You should listen to Jennifer.
She really, if Jennifer's hearing this, there we go.
This is it. I invite people to go there because actually, you know, Denis is very understated, but his writing is hilarious and also informative at the same time. You can learn all kinds of stuff from this. But also I got a lot of chuckles out of it. And so, yeah, it's just at DenisFaye.com. And also you write for Beachbody too, right?
I do. I'm kind of a fancy executive guy now. So
are you really?
Yeah. Helping my people. We have my department. So can I talk about my department? Do I have time?
Yes, of course. Hold on. Let me just say something here. Kamala says you should write some jokes for me to perform. Yeah. I'll get him to in his spare time.
He's got plenty of his own material, man.
Yeah. So tell me, you tell her that. You tell her. I got plenty of my own material.
She's got a gem, man. She's got a gem. She should not be. She should not be talking smack about you. I'm gonna come over there and give her a thorough
talking to
lecture on modalities if she keeps this up.
Okay, so tell me. Yes, I want you to talk about your executive position and what's going on with you?
Well, it's just okay. Here's what keeps me working at that company. You know,
Yeah.
we went public, and we're just kind of a big company now. But they really they see the value in making good things. And my department's called Fitness Nutrition Results, and I oversee the nutrition part. And we do a few things. We the recipe people. Kirsten and Holly. I got Krista, Quinn, Sarah, Natalie sort of works for me. I mean, we got this whole big, and so anyway, they make the recipes, or we look at the recipes other people make and make sure they're healthy. And we're not about, like, our department's not about there's no ROI. That's fancy corporate talk for return on investment.
I gotta go. ROI. I gotta go. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You take
We're
it
not
from
about
here.
making money, man. We're about making good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what we're held accountable for. Is like, is this good? Is this helping the customer and stuff? And I think that's pretty special in a company, that there's a whole department that just only does that.
I think that's cool. I'm a big fan of Beachbody. I got to say, I'm a cult member. If it's a cult, I'm in. But I've been doing their workouts forever, but I find that the trainers, because I guess I was helping the trainers with their computers early on, I got to know some of them, like Shalene Johnson and Tony, and a lot of different people. And I found them to be very sincere. Like when Tony the reason I started it was because Tony asked me like how I was doing one day, and I was in a real funk, and I was like, and I for some reason just said, I'm not doing great. I'm kind of depressed, because I had hurt my back swimming. No, I had hurt my back training for a triathlon.
Okay.
My friend was a triathlete. He wanted me to wanted me to join him, and I was a pretty good swimmer. So he was like, "Wow, you're such a great swimmer," and I was lapping him and stuff. And then my back like got all messed up, and so I was like, "I hurt my back," and he goes, "Here, do this," and he gave me the P90X box, and I was like, he goes, "Do it, but don't do it half-assed," and I was like, "Okay, I will," but up until then, I was like, "Oh, this is just some crazy infomercial." You know, I was just had that idea in my head that it was just, they were selling shit by the side of the road, but they aren't. They're really, it's a kick-ass company. And I met Carl and some of the other people, John Congdon, and I was like, oh, these people are sincere about what they're doing.
I think so.
It's kind of cool that, you're a part of that, a big part of that. I think I have to look into more of the nutrition side of it. And that's great that I'm talking with you today, because I do want to because my idea of like weight loss is to starve myself. And I'm not good at starving myself. I'll tell you that.
No, there's a middle ground, like, moderation. And then like Oscar Wilde said, people say this to me all the time when I'm lecturing them at work about doing the right thing. They're like, everything in moderation, including moderation. So I like that quote a lot.
I like that too. I like that.
I don't know. You seem pretty healthy to me.
Well, I want to take it to the next level. Like sometimes you feel like you kind of plateau. Like I think actually this workout that I've been doing recently called The Work kind of took it to a new level for me, because it's got some different stuff in it that I never did before. And a lot of it is balance and core oriented. And I think this guy's really
swear
good.
Word.
And there's swear words. That part I'm not so sure about. There's the explicit. You can have the explicit and the non-explicit.
Yeah. Walla's, he's crazy smart. That guy is.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's like next level. He's a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, I want to get him on the show sometime if I possibly can. But he's been inspirational to me. I've done the thing twice now, and cool. I really enjoy it. And it's also inspiring because he's an inspiring person. He's got an inspiring story too. You know?
Yeah, he's fantastic, and he's the intermittent fasting guy.
Is he?
To answer your question earlier about intermittent fasting, by the way, it's whatever works for you. Do
you think people are different? Do you think people are just different? Everybody's different, so you can't just cookie cutter like this is what you do.
And there's a fancy word for it. I'm super scared to say it.
Can't
so
wait
I'm
for
not
it.
say it.
Come on, hit me.
You ready?
With it.
You ready?
Hit
Here it comes. Biochemical individuality.
Almost passed out.
Are you okay?
Almost passed out. I got like an electrical charge out of that. Yeah. It's good though.
After that one.
I like it. Greg Wordla says, for some reason, talking about nutrition makes me want a cheeseburger.
Then
Well,
you should eat that cheeseburger.
That's right. I think you probably should. So yeah, so everybody's different. I'm not going to say the word because I can't. But I think that's one of the things that's important to remember, because we always are always telling other people how they should eat, or they're telling us how they should eat, how you should eat. And really, they don't know. So how can you know? Is there some kind of a place you can go to say, like, what type of person, you see those things on Facebook where they're like, what type of person are you? And it seems like they're selling shit by the side of the road, but how can you know?
I think the day will come where you can get like a DNA test and it will be able to tell you. I don't think that science is there yet. I mean, in the meantime, I think it's trial and error. You try things and you see if they work. Yeah. I mean, kind of a good example of that is keto. I'm not a keto person. Mm-hmm. And if you want, I can lecture you about why I don't believe in keto. But every now and then I meet someone who does keto and they totally prosper from it. So, so you just try things. And I think, talk about reading things. Yes. You know what you can read is your own journal. Like, start writing down what you eat and look for days where you have successes. Look for days, you wake up and you just absolutely crush your workout and you're just feeling on cloud 9. Go look to see what you ate the day before, like see what's in there. Look at those trends. Or same other way, you wake up and you just have a bad day and you're sluggish and all that. Go see what you've been eating and you might find something, So
I see that. And I see that also with people like I stopped drinking because it was just making me depressed. I get up the next day and I just be depressed. I felt great the night before. Next day, pay for it. So I just stopped. But I have friends that they drink and then the next day they're fine. And they're leaving like my age and stuff. And I'm like, wow, you must have a totally different system than I do. I also, if I eat pizza, I love pizza. I'll have any kind of pizza. I eat cigarette butt pizza. But the thing is, it always makes me sluggish and it always makes me feel terrible the next day. And I gain like 5 pounds like that. It's like a magic trick. But
that's sodium, right? That's fat
sodium.
Yeah, that's like water weight you're gaining. But still, do you think it's the cheese in the pizza?
I think it's the bread. For me, I think bread kicks my ass. I've kind of realized this over my time. Howard Ronan says, are there bikes hung up throughout your house? Do you talk to them like pets?
Both my wife and I are, as a matter of fact, how we met was cycling. So we do have a number of bikes. This is just my little office. There's a shed in the back of the house that is also my office. So this is the only place. It's here. And then down in the garage, we have some bikes. But I do not talk to them. I do name them, though. They have names.
What's the one behind you? Right behind you.
This is Edmund. This is the most recent member of the family, right?
Oh, that's nice. Did you name it after Edmonds, our place where we lived?
No, I didn't. It's a Trek Amanda. Oh. And I wanted to go. Like the cliche thing to do is name a vehicle or a craft after a woman.
Yes, of course. Yeah. There's a joke about that. That you went against it. You named it after a man.
Yes.
And who's Edmund?
There's it's the Amanda is the model, so I went Edmund, but I've never known. The only Edmund I'm aware of is the Edmund Fitzgerald, and I've never been on that boat. So. Which is actually, I've just completely contradicted myself, because there's an example of a vessel from the old times named after a man. So I just completely wrote everything.
Throw that out. Throw that story out. It's totally wrong. There's a joke in that.
Can you just cut that?
Yeah, I'll cut that out. There's going to be a lot of snipping on this. Okay, there was a. You know
what? Hey, Joe, what's it? Modality.
Oh, God, no. Let me out of here. They've got me chained to this thing. I can't leave. Okay, so here's the joke. Cracked magazine. It's one of those.
I remember
Cracked magazine, right? So there was one of those cartoons in there. I don't know. And the guy says, "Oh, I just got a boat and I named it after you." And then he shows another frame and he's talking to another woman. He's like, I got a boat and I named it after you. And then you see him later with this boat and it says, "After you," on the back of it.
I bet you someone's done that.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they probably read that magazine too.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go down to the marina and start looking around.
Yeah,
see if I
look
can
around
find
for the After You boats. There's probably a whole bunch of them. After You too.
there you go. That's funny.
I think we've reached the end of the show. Unfortunately, we've run out of
Oh.
time, but it's super fun having you here.
Yeah.
I want to ask you one last thing. William Shatner in space. Do you think it was a good idea?
Yes. I really, in my heart of hearts, wished that it would have been a Captain Kirk Sulu double feature.
Yeah, that would have been
I
good.
really, I think that would have been the best. And for those two guys, because are they the last? Well, no. Is Uhura still around?
Uhura? I'm not sure. John
Yeah,
Peckinpah says, good stuff, Denis.
Thanks, John.
Sven de Kock. Denis, I'm from Belgium, the home of cycling. The world championship a few weeks ago was amazing in Leuven, Belgium. That's where he lives.
Yes, the Belgians with the cobblestones and all that, they are the most badass cyclists there are. Wow. So anyway,
they also make the best beer. Yeah. Okay.
Shatner's base is cool, but it would have been great if those two guys would have gone up there together.
Yes. Well, didn't one of them die? One of the people that went up with Shatner? I think he died in a plane crash just recently. Yes, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. The other thing was, what do you think this is a good idea, this space race to become a spacefaring civilization? Do you think it's a good idea, bad idea?
That's a big question, man. I mean,
I know.
I guess I mean, we're screwing up the Earth royally,
But should we get another one? We shouldn't get another one. We should try and fix this one, right?
We should try to fix this one, but I'm.
What is this? Our starter Earth? Starter Earth? Terrible. Tina Adams. Tina Adams says. Tina Adams says an avid spin cycler. Too much traffic.
Yeah, here. you know that Beachbody just started selling a
bike.
It's not a spin bike, but a stationary bike called the Mix Bike, MYX.
They have a whole thing, like a whole other program now.
Yes, Body Interactive.
Body. So, Tina says yes, he died in a plane crash. Thank you for fact checking. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. Go all the way up there. At least he went to space.
Right? At least he went to. Do you want to go to space?
No, I'm claustrophobic, and after seeing Shatner freaking out there, that's probably how I'd be. I'd be like,
really. So if I said, "Hey, Joel, I passed the hat around, got a couple tickets to space, come with me," you'd be like, "No, thanks."
I'd be like, "No," because I probably would have it'd probably implode. Yeah, I would implode. It freaks me out so much. I mean, elevators bother me. I'm not gonna put myself on the top of a rocket. If I strapped in, I'd start sweating. I'd probably have a panic attack, huge panic attack.
I do it like that.
Really?
Like I have kids and wife to take care of, so I wouldn't do it now. But if I had none of those things,
you do,
and I found out I was going to die in a couple of months or whatever, all the money I've saved, all my savings, get me into space.
Yeah, well, you just had a bunch of caveats there. Whole bunch of caveats. Well, I found out I was going to die in a couple of months.
More important. Okay, because retirement and living is more important. Like, I went up to space and then I'm broke. No, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense.
How great could it be in space anyway? It's horrific. Space, no one can hear you scream. And I like to scream.
Nice.
I love screaming.
I was going to make an alien reference earlier for something you said, but I couldn't remember. But thank you for doing that.
Someday I would like to have you back on the show and give you a quiz, one of our famous trivia quizzes where you battle the audience. But someday, that's what we'll do in the future. Okay, like a rain check. That'd be fun.
This has been one of my favorite noons ever.
I love it. Thank you for saying that.
Top 10.
Appreciate that. Maybe top noons. Everyone should have fun at noon. All right, so that's the end of the show. I'm going to do a dance break. You can join me. It's going to be kind of mellow. It's a Hall & Oates song that is being performed by someone on YouTube. And she allowed us, her name's Allie. She allowed us to play this. So thank you again for being on the show. I'm going to bring you into the dance break if that's okay. Is that all right with you? You don't have to get up and go crazy because it's not a crazy song, but we'll just end up the show together with a little bit of music.
All right. Here we go.
right, here she is, Allie. She's coming. There she is.
You're a rich girl.
This is
and
Allie
you go
Ferris.
too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You can
She's
rely
no relation
on the
to
old man's money.
Anna Ferris,
You can rely on the
who went to our
old
high
man's
school as
money.
well.
It's a bitch, girl,
apparently.
but it's gone too far, 'cause you know
I think
it
she went to
don't
Edmonds.
matter anyway.
She's good, isn't she?
Say money, but it won't
She really gets into the funk of it too. That's what I like. So she's got her own YouTube channel, and she's got some music videos, and she's really evolved into like a really major performer. So I recommend subscribing. Do you like Hall & Oates?
Me?
Yeah.
I do. I'm a little amazed that they're the ones that the Generation Z and the Millennials pick. All those bands from back then.
Interesting.
Cool for them, right?
Do you mean they're very popular now?
Oh, amongst my kids, they're huge.
I keep talking over
I like
singing.
Private Eyes.
Oh yeah, they have so many songs.
Yeah.
I'm
Sarah
gonna try.
Smile. They're
Amazing. Okay, now I'm gonna be quiet while she sings.
It's so easy to hurt others when you can't feel pain. And don't you know that a love can grow? Ooh, 'cause
Yeah,
it's
she's
too
got.
much to give,
Oh, I'm
'cause
talking
you'd
again.
rather live for the thrill of it all.
It's hard to be
You're a
quiet.
rich girl, and it's gone too far, 'cause you know it
I remember they said bitch in this song, and it was just like controversial. There it is. I mean, does it have the same effect that it had back then? I don't think so. Maybe.
She accents it. She says, bitch.
She does. She really accents it. What if she said modality in the middle of the song? That would be shocking.
Or biochemical individuality.
Oh, God. All right. Thanks for being on the show. And thank you, Allie Ferris, for singing while we blather on. See you later. Have a great one.